Tennessee just had 4 players selected in the 2025 NFL draft, all 4 years following Josh Heupel's seasons as head coach. All 4 years Josh Heupel's been head coach, they followed up with a pretty solid NFL draft. They've had selections at least 3 all 4 years, so they're back taking over the draft. 2026, even without Nico Iamaleava, could be a big year for Tennessee in the NFL draft. Based on players who we think are likely to be starters and are likely to be eligible for the draft, we've come up with a list of guys who could go to the NFL draft next year, and we're looking at their NFL draft potential. So let's go ahead and dive in now, play a little hot or cold, the NFL draft prospects of Tennessee players for the 2026 season. We're going to name players that we think could actually leave for the draft, and players that we obviously think will leave, and players that will be out of eligibility. We're naming everybody that we expect to be in the rotation for Tennessee next year who could be eligible for the draft in 2026. And believe it or not, there is a lot of players that we need to get to. So let's go ahead and dive in. Hot or cold? Brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. 50 years in East Tennessee. Integrity matters. CityHeatandAir.com. The first one, Joey Aguilar. Don't know yet if he'll start for Tennessee, but look, as an NFL draft pick, I'm cold on him. Now, Heupel may turn him into one with his putting up video game numbers, but I just think his measurables will be so bad. He doesn't have enough arm strength, and it's just going to really hold him back when he's going to the NFL draft. So while he could ball out for Tennessee at Tennessee and Heupel's system, I'm still cold on him as a potential NFL draft pick. Chris Brazzell. I'm hot on Chris Brazzell. Chris Brazzell as a potential 2026 NFL draft pick. I think he's a late rounder, 5 to 7. He's a possession receiver, almost like Jawan Jennings, who can win physical one-on-one matchups. Won't blow you away with his speed, but he will be able to make some catches, so I'm hot on Brazzell. Now, somebody mentioned, do I got to start with Boo Carter? Restastic. Boo Carter won't be eligible for the NFL draft next year because you got to be out of high school for 3 years before you go to the draft, and I think it'll be, well, will he be? No, he won't be eligible for the NFL draft next year. Miles Kitselman. I'm very hot on Miles Kitselman. I think Miles Kitselman is a very, very good tight end. He was banged up in the spring, but I think he's going to get fully healthy in the fall, and I think he's going to ball out for Tennessee once he gets fully healthy. So I'm hot on him. He's a complete tight end. It's the reason Holden stays into the transfer portal. Lance Hurd. Lance Hurd will have another year of eligibility after next year, but could enter the NFL draft. I'm cold on him. He's not going to enter early. He's not going to enter the draft early. There's too many other issues with Tennessee's offensive line, so he's going to have his own issues next year. He's got to gel with them, so he's not going to boost his draft stock next year. In a year, different story, but I'm cold on him for next year. Jamal McCoy. Oh, gosh, extremely hot on him. You already see many prognosticators having him as a projected first-round NFL draft pick next year, 2026. Jamal McCoy, I am extremely hot on as a potential NFL draft pick. Bryson Eason. I'm hot on him as a late round draft pick. Like, I'm talking 5 to 7 round again, something like that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he signs as an undrafted free agent, but he's a very reliable defensive tackle in the system, so I am hot on him. Tyree West, hot on him again. I think Tyree West is the best on the line of scrimmage defensive end that Tennessee has. Makes a lot of big plays doing it. So I think Tyree West can definitely fit into a system, particularly a 3-4 system in the NFL. Jackson Moy, I'm hot on him, but barely. I think, again, 6th, 7th round, I see he'll play a larger role this year, and I could see a Jesse Mahalona type from him because they were both kind of shorter guys that use their leverage to make plays. So I'm actually hot on Jackson Moy. Joshua Josephs, I'm cold on him. I respect the game Joshua Josephs plays. I respect his style. I think the coaches love him. He does everything right. And I think he's a very productive player. I think he benefited a lot from James Pierce on the other side last year. I think he's going to need somebody to benefit him this year playing on the other side, whether that be Jordan Ross or somebody like that. I think with that in mind, Joshua Josephs is not actually going to be physically gifted enough to be an NFL draft pick. Dominic Bailey, I feel the same way as a defensive end on the front line of scrimmage. Just not going to be physically gifted enough to go to the pros. A solid college player, but I just think there's only so much he can do. Arian Carter. All right. Guys, I'm hot on Arian Carter. Arian Carter returns with Jeremiah Thielander in the linebacker roles. They have played together. They have experience playing together. He now has experience as a full year starting, and he's the most physically gifted player for his position of anybody at Tennessee this year. I think Arian Carter could easily play himself into a first-round draft pick next year because I think he really is that good. I think Arian Carter is dangerous. Watch out for him. So you can get linebackers, Jeremiah Thielander. Cold on him. Maybe an NFL draft pick one day. I don't think he's going to leave for the NFL draft next year, though, even though he could. Andre Turrentine. I'm cold on him. Developed well, but I just think there's some physical limitations for Turrentine that I think are going to hurt him. So I just don't see how Andre Turrentine could end up making his way to the NFL. Same with Jalen McMurray. I'm cold on him. I think Jalen McMurray is a solid role-playing cornerback and will be a solid in Tennessee's system as a defensive back next year, but I'm cold on him actually making it into the NFL. I just think he's got physical limitations. And we got one more player coming back. First, a quick message from City Heating and Air Conditioning. Hot or cold, brought to you by City Heat and Air.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
Welcome back to Off the Hook Sports. Caleb Calhoun here. And finally, we look at the last player as a potential NFL draft pick for the Vols next year, and that would be Ricky Gibson III. I'm cold on him. Ricky Gibson III is a very solid number 2 cornerback. He's going to be a solid cornerback next year, but he's going to be thrust into the number 1 role early because Jermon McCoy is banged up, and I don't think he's capable of handling that role, and it's going to make him look really, really bad, and that's going to hurt his draft stock as an underclassman, so I think he'll have to come back for a senior year. So I'm very cold on Ricky Gibson next year being an NFL draft pick. 2 years, different story, but next year, I just don't see how he becomes an NFL draft pick, honestly. I think that it's just not going to work. So when you look at guys that I think could be drafted next year, Chris Brazel, Miles Kitselman, Jermon McCoy, Bryson Eason, Tyree West, Jackson Moy, Arian Carter, Jeremiah Thielander, that's 8 players from Tennessee this year that I think could be drafted next year, which would be a really good draft. I don't think all of them will get drafted, but I do think that speaks to where Tennessee is as a program, that there are, yes, 8 players who could get drafted. I'm going to set up the poll question real quick on who is Tennessee's best NFL draft prospect. We're going to go ahead and set that up now because I'll tell you who I think the best of those are. So who is Tennessee's best 2026 NFL draft prospect? We're going to say Jermon McCoy. I think Jermon McCoy is just an obvious one. I think Arian Carter. I know he is a junior, but I think he could be an elite player next year or next year for Tennessee and then turn himself into an NFL draft prospect. I'm extremely high on him. Miles Kitselman is obviously a dangerous one. So we're going to name him because we're talking about a tight end that could become an elite player. And I'm going to throw out, for my own purposes, Chris Brazel. And because he did show quite a bit of talent last year. So those are the 4. Who is Tennessee's best 2026 NFL draft prospect? Jermon McCoy, Arian Carter, Miles Kitselman, or Chris Brazel II. Those are my top 4. I'm probably ranking Jermon McCoy number 1, Arian Carter number 2, Miles Kitselman number 3, Chris Brazel number 4. The only reason Miles Kitselman is down at number 3 is I think he's going to hurt his draft stock a bit next year because it's going to take him a little bit of time to get as healthy as he needs to be. And that can cause some issues, but that doesn't mean I'm not high on him. I want to be very clear on that. I'm still high on Miles Kitselman. So I think that I think Miles Kitselman will be a very, very, very good player for in the NFL. So I say just watch out. I think that Miles Kitselman. I think those 3 specifically. I'm a little less hot on Brazel. That's probably the one I'm the least hot on between the 4 of those 4. But you had to put 4 in, and I threw Chris Brazel in.